Hey, what's going on guys, Cal here, and in today's video I'm going to be creating a tier list of all of Krunker's verified clans. So a bit of a different video type, and I don't think I've seen anyone do this before. Should be interesting. So basically I threw together this tier list template, and the only requirement for a clan to get on this was just to be verified in-game. It doesn't matter how they got verified. And as of January 2020, there are 17 clans with the golden clan tag in-game. But quick disclaimer before I start is that whenever I came up with the video idea, I immediately realized that this was going to be a pretty controversial video because, well, basically everybody supports their own clans and everybody has their different opinions on clans. So when I'm tiering these, I'm going to try to be generally as objective as possible. But at the end of the day, tier lists are generally subjective, and I'm not gonna ever be able to please everyone. So basically, don't hate on me for creating this. If you guys do want to express your own opinions or make your own tier list of these clans, the template link for this tier list template will be in the description below for you guys to do it yourself. And also, feel free to argue in the comments below. Don't be too toxic, but I would like to hear everyone's opinions. And also, before I start, make sure you guys leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. I truly do appreciate all of your guys' support. So anyways, let's get started in order, starting with 24/7. And 24/7, it is currently the #1 clan on the leaderboards of Krunker. So just this fact will boost it up a good bit. They're generally not too huge in the competitive scene. I do believe a few of their teams have signed up in tournaments, but none of them really placed too high. However, they do have a good bit of content creators, and again, the #1 spot on the leaderboard. So I'm going to put them at B tier, just straight in the middle, just for a good reference, that they're a solid clan, but for a verified clan, they don't have too much standing out about them, if you know what I mean. So next, this terminal thing is supposed to represent the Dev clan, which is verified obviously because it is Sydney's official clan for the developers and other big names in Krunker. However, I personally don't think that this clan is too special, other than that the devs own it. Some of the other people who are in this clan, I think like half of them aren't even too active in Krunker anymore. And obviously this clan doesn't really participate in any competitive tournaments or have a huge number of content creators going for them. I mean, they do have Frosty Wolf, but he is in this clan because he is an in-game mod. But basically, I'm actually going to put this clan at D, because I really don't think that the devs being in it and owning it and managing it should bring it higher. It's basically just a tag for recognition, if any. So that's my reasoning for that. Next up, we have Faze Clan. And there was a period of time in Krunker where a lot of the Faze people, like Faze Rain and stuff, hopped onto this game. So Sydney gave them a verified clan, verified all their accounts and whatnot. But they really don't play this game anymore, and they didn't really do much for the game. So even though this clan is verified, I'm also going to put it at D. They don't really have that much interaction with the community at all. Just because they're a big org, I don't think that they should be any higher. Next up, we have G59, and this clan definitely could have gone places. It was owned by Random Export, but he decided to drop the clan and go with Envy, because managing a clan can be hard for sure. But now the clan is just sitting on someone else's account. I don't know if it's an alt or one of Random's friends, and I think it accepts people into the clan occasionally, like people who are good in the competitive scene. However, it's not really an organized or legitimate clan anymore, so for that reason I'm also going to be tiering it at D. Next up, we have Galaxy, and Galaxy is one of the biggest EU clans in Krunker. I believe it is mostly EU based, probably has a few NA players. They also do have content creators. In terms of the comp scene, they always are in the EU tournaments. I hosted the recent EU tournament, and a lot of the top teams were Galaxy players. But the thing is, they never really win these EU tournaments. They're always shadowed by Omen. Omen's Krunker team has taken every single EU weekly so far. So although they're an extremely good clan, I'm not sure I can rank them as S tier. I'm just gonna put them one below that at A tier. Next up we have JBP, and JBP was one of the first verified clans in the game. It's currently number 4 on the Krunker leaderboards. There are a couple of pretty good content creators in this clan, as well as a few good comp teams. I think that they lack consistency because as far as I've been following them, they'll often have like players leave and join the clan on a daily basis. And also in the competitive scene, they haven't really won anything too notable, but they are not a bad clan. They have a Twitter and are managed pretty well. I'll put them at a solid B tier. Next up we have Lore, and Lore is the number 1 OCE clan, owned by Masui. I don't really follow the OCE competitive scene too heavily, but I do know that Lore holds basically a lot of the top players in the region, and they've won most of the tournaments, whether that be the weeklies or any smaller tournaments. I'm not going to say that they control the OCE region, but they do hold a lot of the top players and basically control the region. So just because of that, I'm going to put them at S tier. Next up we have the map makers of Krunker, also known as MMOK, and this clan is not really known for competitive or even content creators, although they have a few. This clan is exactly what the name suggests and is all the top tier map makers of Krunker. And honestly, without a lot of these guys, some of the most popular maps wouldn't be here. So even though they're not that involved in competitive or any of the other things that these top clans are involved in, I'm gonna go ahead and give them a B tier, just because it's hard to compare competitive and content creator clans with a community clan like MMOK. And overall, they don't really allow any map maker in there. They only allow the top map makers of the community. So I do think it gives me a good reason to rank it at a solid B level. Next up we have Envy. Envy is a top clan in the NA region, and they also have an EU team, a couple of EU players. I can kind of compare them to Galaxy, whereas they have a bunch of really good players. However, they haven't really won any of the weekly tournaments. I know that a lot of their teams have won KR tournaments, and they're extremely active in the competitive scene. But another thing that I think they lack, kind of like JBP, is that consistency to keep solid players and content creators in rankings. A lot of people end up leaving after a bit, or they even get kicked. So just because of that, I'm going to put them at A tier. Still a really good competitive clan, but I can't really find myself putting them higher. Next up, this logo is for the esports organization Oddity, and Oddity is kind of a branch of Lore. So what happened was the top Lore team did get signed to an org, which was Oddity, and they created a clan for themselves, and Sydney verified it. And this is basically Lore, and they win a lot of the weekly tournaments, I think like all but one so far. So I really got to put them at S tier. It's basically Lore, but you know, it's a different clan. Next up, Omen. And Omen is another one of the top NA competitive clans, and it also has an EU team, and this EU team alone has won every single one of its weeklies. And the NA team and their main NA team, Dusk, has also won every single one of the weeklies except for one, but the only weekly that they lost to a team where most of the members were in Omen anyways. So basically what I'm trying to say is that this clan wins a lot of things and is definitely one of the top competitive clans. Also a very OG clan, one of the first ones to be verified as well. I'm gonna have to put them at S just for the amount of winnings that they have. Next up we have Oxic, and Oxic is a clan that recently the leadership transferred from Ronix to Kato. It is a pretty old clan, also one of the first clans to be verified. But overall, I think it is lacking in a lot of departments, because whenever it was first verified, it was one of the top EU teams, but a lot of those players branched off and eventually created Galaxy. So currently, I think the clan has just a random batch of good content creators and competitive players, but none of these competitive players or content creators are really at the top. So because of this, I'm gonna put them at C. Next up we have Phil, and Phil is actually an interesting clan. It is a parkour clan, so you get in this clan by being really good at parkour. I think they have some sort of test, I don't know, probably couldn't pass it. But yeah, they don't really participate in the competitive scene at all, and I don't know if they have any really good content creators either, but I can't really dismiss them just because of this fact. They still are a good clan for their own reason. There really aren't any parkour clans in Krunker other than Phil and I believe their sister clan, PhD. So similar to MMOK, although they are kind of hard to compare to the rest of these competitive and clans holding a bunch of content creators, I'm still going to rank them at B, just because they are really special for their own reasons. Next up we have this clan. It is a Japanese clan that when I put into the Japanese to English Google Translator, translated to Lolly Girl. So yeah, Lolly Girl, it is one of the 2 Asian verified clans, and I don't really follow the Asian competitive scene. I believe it's actually really lacking, as they don't have too many players, or they don't even have their own weeklies. But how I ranked Timp and Lolly Girl, the 2 Asian clans, were basically by comparing them to each other. And Timp is number 2 on the leaderboards. They also have teams from other regions, although they're mainly Asian based. Lolly Girl is still a very good clan. I'm sure they hold some of the best Asian players in the game, but I do not believe I can put them at S tier, so I would just put them 1 below that. And as I said, Timp, currently the number 2 clan on the leaderboards, has a bunch of good players, mostly in the Asian regions, but I do believe they have a few from NA also. And as far as I've heard from the people I've talked to, the few Asian Krunker tournaments that have been organized, Timp has taken a lot of them. So for that, I'm going to put them at S tier. Next up we have Verb, and Verb is a very good clan, also one of the first clans to be verified. I think they're known for their content creators. They have a bunch of really good content creators. I think they almost hold a monopoly for the top content creators of Krunker. They have a bunch of good YouTubers and mainly Twitch streamers. They also have, I think, 2 or 3 really good OCE teams. And they also have a bunch of NA competitive players. I don't believe they currently have an active NA roster, but they used to, and I do believe it placed pretty high in some tournaments. Their OCE teams also placed really high in tournaments. I think one of them is even signed to an org. So overall, Verb has a lot of good things going for them, and I'm going to rank them at S tier. And last but not least, the Void. And honestly, I would be surprised if 1/10 of my viewers even knew about Void. I don't even know why they're verified, to be honest. This clan was one of the first, and I mean first, elite Krunker clans, but that was basically whenever clans first started. The leader is inactive and all the players are inactive. I don't think more needs to be said. I'm going to put them at D tier. So yeah, basically guys, that is my tier list for all of the verified clans in Krunker as of January 2020. Again, if you guys disagree with anything, leave it in the comments and argue. I would love to see you guys' opinions. If you guys are in any of these clans and I ranked you badly, don't hate me, please. I tried to be as objective as possible, and I seriously wasn't really considering personal opinions when I ranked these clans. But once again, the template for this is going to be in the description below, so you guys can go ahead and create your own tier list. But yeah, make sure you guys leave a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.